Welcome back, it's time for more science. I hope you enjoyed the little bead race yesterday. Let me know how it got on. What experiments did you do? Well, today we're going to look at another one, and what you're going to need is a nice glass, preferably a tall one and wide enough to fit a candle inside of it. A small shallow dish. This is optional, but an egg cup or something just to hold your candle up just a few centimetres. Once again, you need a candle, so you need a parent's and an adult's permission for this. Something to light your candle with. And here I've just got some coffee, but you could use tea. You could even use water with food colouring. It's entirely up to you. I didn't have any food colouring, and we needed the things that you definitely would have around the house, and I'm sure you'd have tea or coffee. So I've just used some coffee here. I'm going to advertise it from a friend who works at Neighbourhood Coffee in Liverpool. Go and buy their coffee. It's great stuff and also really useful for experiments. Okay, so I've just got some coffee there. I'll get rid of that to the side. And there it is. It's not Coke, it is coffee. You could actually just do this with water, but the reason you get a bit of colour in there is easier to see. Now we're going to look at the air around us, because if I asked you, what do we call this stuff around us? A lot of people go, air. If you're scientific, you might say gas, and you're not wrong. But really, there's more than one gas around us. You see, the air is made up of loads of gases, and we're going to think about really mainly two for today, because a lot of it is made up of oxygen and nitrogen. Now, I'm sure you already know what oxygen is used for, because we all use it each and every day, each and every second. We breathe in the oxygen around us, and our lungs put that into our blood, and it takes it around our bodies, so our muscles and our organs and our brain can use that oxygen as they work. It's really, really important to us. But you know what? We're not the only thing that uses oxygen. You see, we've got a candle in front of us. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to light my candle. I'm going to give it a bit of heat. And with the fuel and the heat, we're going to get a flame. But actually, they're not the only two things that are used in the fire. We have fuel in the wax, heat in the flame I've just given it, and finally, oxygen. You see, around this candle, it is burning up the oxygen in the air. It's using it up. And if there was no oxygen, the flame would go out. Just like humans can't survive without oxygen, neither can a fire. It's using up the oxygen in the room around me. Don't believe me? Well, let's have a look at this little experiment. You're going to get your dish and fill it with your coloured liquid. Doesn't matter what colour, mine's obviously coffee. Then in the very centre, place your little stand for your candle. I'm just going to place my candle carefully inside because there's a bit of wax in there. Perfect. And then I'm going to light it. Now, we know this flame is using up the oxygen. Well, in a second, I'm going to take my glass from earlier and I'm going to place it over the top of my candle. You might think, why are you doing that? Well, when I place it over the top, I'm going to seal the air that's inside the glass around the candle. It's going to be sealed in there by the liquid in our dish. And that candle, that flame, is going to use up the oxygen that's inside the glass. Well, this is where science is amazing, because as it uses it up, all that's going to be left in there is the nitrogen, but it's going to use up some of the oxygen. Now you might say, well, what replaces it? What fills that gap? Nothing? Well, we can't have nothing. That's called a vacuum when we've got nothing there. And actually, that vacuum, that nothingness, that oxygen that's released has got to be replaced by something. So what should happen is my liquid in the bottom of here should be sucked up inside the glass as that oxygen is used up and the liquid comes to replace it. Let's hope this works. Did you see that? So I didn't get all the liquid, but you can see how the liquid has risen up inside the glass and the candle's gone out. That's because the oxygen's gone. There's no more oxygen left in there. Mostly what's left in there is nitrogen. And where the oxygen was inside of there has been replaced now by the liquid that's been sucked up by that vacuum, that empty space that's now left inside the glass. And we've got our liquid has risen up in there. If I'm very careful, I can break that seal. And voila, we've got our candle back with our cup. And the oxygen, the candle won't relight. You'd have to apply heat again to get that going. But there's plenty of oxygen left in the air. So have a go yourself. Maybe try some different experiments. Try different amounts of liquid, a different size glass, a different size candle, maybe 2 candles. It's up to you. Have a go. Let me know what you do.